It's Bourbon Night. It's daytime.
Yes,
but
it's not night.
Bourbon Night is in your heart, really. This is Laurie Preston.
I am Laurie Preston from the Lexington Bourbon Society.
Board member.
That's correct.
Co-founder.
Co-founder, yes. By default, when you're married to the president, that's what happens.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And what are we uncorking?
This is Evan Williams, and it is the age 12 years 101 proof. This is the good old Evan Williams. Do you know a little something about Evan Williams?
A little bit.
What do you know?
He's good old.
He's good old Evan Williams. Well, Evan Williams had his distillery on the banks of the Ohio River in 17 I can read off 83.
I can read off the side.
Can you read off the side of a bottle? That's
Yeah.
really good. I'm so glad you can. But this is very much close to his original recipe. So that's kind of the main deal about this one. And not only that, this is based on the original sour mash recipe of his, and it is aged 12 years. So you gonna do this, or am I doing this?
You do it. You're the guest.
Okay.
Now, what I
this
do
is
know
really
about
difficult.
it, yeah. Oh,
This is hardy.
don't
Oh my goodness.
hit me in the face. Is that this was only sold at the distillery in
Okay, I
Louisville,
get it.
in the gift shop, and then there was some type of problem with that, and they had to.
I'm serious. I told you this is hardy wax. This is what I would call a hardy dip of the wax.
Oh,
Good gracious! Wow. Look at that.
yeah.
That was.
crazy.
That's not. I don't even know if that's wax. That's like superhuman.
Yeah.
Teflon. They didn't want us to drink it.
No. But it was just sold in the gift shop, but this was actually bought in Bardstown.
We might need tools. Have you ever had this much trouble?
With a few
corking
bottles.
something?
We'll see. It's still on the.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say right now that this is something incredibly weird.
I'm gonna have to put the 5 minutes later sign up. Oh, got it. And here's the thing. This is a $130 bottle of bourbon, but it's still a screw off.
But you know what? They made it. They made you take
But
your time.
it was airtight, right?
They made you take your
Let
time.
you do the honors.
Yes, I will. And this is, this is my weird little glass. We thought this was kind of a strange little glass. I'm gonna put it in mine first.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to. For fun.
Good.
I'm giving myself a small splash. I'm gonna give you a
Take
small
a small splash,
You
yeah.
can take a small splash.
Yeah, just a small splash.
Check
Okay.
this out.
It's nice and dark. 101 proof.
It's been sitting there for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's got its thing.
Ooh.
I'm gonna do my signature one nostril thing. I think there's something wrong with one of
Okay.
my nose sides.
Your nose sides.
Nose sides. It's a nostril. That's what they call it medically.
Well, that's rich and compelling.
That's different.
Mm-hmm. It's very caramel.
Caramel is what I was gonna say. I was gonna say butterscotch.
Butterscotch.
We were going to the candies.
Yes.
So we have a candy thing going on here.
Wow, that is.
I like that.
It's strong. Strong smelling.
But I don't think it's not burning. Well, I think my
No, I
nostrils
just
are
think
all
it's.
burned off.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah.
I've
I think
smelled
it's
a lot of
very.
bourbon, people. That's what happens. I would say.
Yeah, not strong as like stringent. Strong as it's got a lot in its profile.
It does have a lot in its profile.
So sure.
Ooh.
That's always a good sign.
That is a good sign. That's pretty dang delicious. Now, I typically like hotter bourbons. I have a tendency to enjoy hazmat, like straight up Elijah Craig. Barrel proof is one of my top favorites. So for me, I like a hotter bourbon. This is not hot it's not hazmat by any means.
No.
Not at all.
No.
But this has got a little heat to it. You definitely can feel it.
Yeah.
The finish is long.
Yeah, it's a pretty long finish. It kind of stays on the tongue with you. Slowly kind of fades away in a pleasant way.
You're definitely, for a 101, you're not,
It's better on the second time.
it is. I'm going to say that candy flavor is still there, but it's more, I'd say that it gets more into, actually I would kind of say it goes into the grains. It doesn't get as sweet.
Yeah.
I don't want to say breads, but that's where I kind of go to.
Good call. Yeah, I agree with that.
This is a total sipper, but you're gonna watch out because you could drink it fast.
Yeah.
You could be like, I'm gonna keep. Next thing you know, you look down, it's gone.
Now, I don't know what this means, but it has a lot of front of tongue burn.
Yeah, it's got a little spice.
Instead of like all over. Like, you know how some, your entire tongue?
Right.
This is more centralized in the front.
Very good on the noticing what tongue part you are going for here. What does that mean though? What is the tip of the tongue? The
tip of the tongue. Tip of the tongue.
What is that?
I don't know.
There is something that's part of your taste buds.
Those taste buds. I don't know.
What?
Google it, people. We can't do everything for you. Come on.
We're trying. I was trying. I said it was the side nose instead of the nostril. I got nostril for you. I can't do that part.
Sweet.
Oh.
Sweet.
Thank you, panel.
Yes.
I'm very glad we have some experts.
Yes.
Off camera. The sweet part. So we're feeling it on the sweet part of the tongue, but I'm not saying that
it's not really
sweet.
tasting this. I mean, there is some sweet, but it's not exorbitantly sweet.
Exorbitantly. You got it out. I'm so glad. Exorbitantly sweet.
Yeah.
I would say that this for me is for a 101, you would have to be careful because you could drink a lot of this very quickly.
Correct.
Because it's a very drinkable bourbon. So assessment, I would go there. Long finish.
Yeah.
A little bit oily.
Yeah, it is.
But not to the point where it's constantly sitting there. But it is lasting. We said that. Front of mouth, so you're getting a lot of front of mouth feel. And then like we said, with the nose is very pleasant, very candy on the nose, but not so much on the tip of the tongue. It's not.
Correct. Now here's the big question: is it worth 120, 130 bucks?
Boy, that's a hard one. Yes, because I'll say okay.
Well, it's a red bottle. Maybe you have it around Christmas. It looks very Christmassy to me.
It's a pretty bottle. It's hard to get into, which is always a challenge and interesting to do.
Yeah.
I think why it would be worth that to me is because it doesn't have a flavor profile that I totally recognize. Because I'm not saying it tastes like anything else.
You know what I would put it closest to is Johnny Drum, which happens to also be a 101.
Right.
And it has that barrel, that oiliness, that butteriness. Not as much as the drum. I think the drum is more buttery. But as far as like that amount of good burn, Johnny Drum, and the same proofage.
There you go. So so do you think Johnny Drum's a better value?
Well, at $30,
yes.
for a 101 non-age stated, made by Willett, versus a 12-year Evan Williams, I would have to give the value, of course, the drum.
Of course.
But is this worth it? I think it's worth it if you are a collector.
Yeah.
Put this in your collection.
Put it in your collection because 1, you're not going to have a bottle that looks like this. 2, you are going to be able to talk about it because it's unusual.
Yep.
And the fact that historically speaking, if you're a history buff, bourbon history buff, this is as close to what Evan Williams supposedly made. I mean, that's kind of cool. Yep. I mean, this is, if you're somebody who likes to feel like you're stepping back in time to the old days of bourbon, and you're drinking it like they did back in that time.
Which I think was through the ear back then. Yeah, they just,
or the the side nose.
The side nose.
The side
I think
nose.
I said I drank
yeah,
it
that's
back
how they
then.
did it.
Who knows?
I don't know.
We can't tell.
We can't tell. But if that was the case, then I would say that is one reason to have it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you come to Kentucky, stop by the Evan Williams Experience in Louisville. Pick yourself up a bottle. Why not?
Why not?
If you're making a trip to the Holy Land of Kentucky, the Mecca of bourbon, then yes, you should go home with this.
You should.
We're not saying this is going to be a daily drinker for everybody, but I think it is worth having in your collection.
There, we've said it.
Boom.
Have it in your collection. And you know what?
Hey, it works.
It does.
It works. Hey,
it works.
It works.
We just know that it works for all of us here in Kentucky. And the one thing about it, for me, I think the historical. I think that's what does it.
I agree.
That's it.
I agree.
Thank
Well
you.
said. Well said.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Laurie, for
Thank you, Chad.
uncorking this for us. Well, I uncorked it. But
You had to
It's your
uncork it
bottle,
because
it's
my
your
little
bottle.
weak little hands couldn't do it because
yeah.
it was too sturdy.
Yeah. Overall, we enjoy it. We recommend it. Put it in your collection.
Yeah.
But also look out for those value bourbons like the Drum, kind of in the same favor profile. It works.
It works.
It works. It's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed.
So great. Thank you again, Laurie. And check out the LBS on Instagram and Facebook and so forth, Lexington Bourbon Society. And until next time, drink more bourbon.
Drink more bourbon.
Drink more bourbon. Drink whiskey. I love you.
I love you.